Welcome back, everyone, to Paddock 43. It's just me again, Pat, Noelle, Els in Vietnam, but we do have a very special guest with us. Would you like
Hi.
do people recognize the voice? I feel like a lot of our listeners probably follow you as well.
Oh, I would be really honored if that was true.
And if not, you're going to get a big lot of new Australian followers now.
Lovely,
Yes.
lovely.
But Sarah, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sarah Kaye. I run the account Sarah on the Grid, where I try and make F1 more accessible for new fans.
Love it. And I love your content. It's nice as well. Like we're talking now and I'm seeing the famous background that I see all the time, which is your bookcase.
Yes, this bookcase was actually, it didn't come with the house.
Okay.
This was an anniversary present that my husband let me design and pick out the wood, and he built it here for me in this very
Wow.
awkward sort of cubby hole of an area. Like there's a door right here.
Nice.
I was like, we couldn't even put a desk or anything. And but yeah, I absolutely love the bookcases, and I'm so happy everybody else loves them too, because it's just they bring me so much joy.
And you've got so many cool, I'm like looking at it, you've got so many cool books and I love that Ferrari hat. So many cool things.
I just got two new books. I got Lee McKenzie's book when I was at Silverstone. She was so nice and asked them to give me one. I love her.
Nice.
And then Jenny Gao as well, How to Read F1. I had that as a digital version because she's amazing, but I had to get one to put on display here, of course.
Yeah, of course. And I always think there's something more satisfying about feeling the books,
Yes.
the pages between your hands.
No, I bought it, I only got the digital version because I had, like, these long flights, and I was like, "I have to do something," but, I was like, "Oh, yeah, it's time. We gotta have the physical copy."
It's time. It's time. But I was saying before, typically when we have a guest, I mean, yes, we're doing like a little interview, but also we can, you adjust at Miami Grand Prix, so I'll be picking your brain. And then we can also talk a little bit about Canada GP coming up and I guess just about the current F1 season and where we're at with everything.
It's heating up. I kind of love it.
It's heating up, but I feel like it's taking a long time.
Like, yeah, it's interesting this year, but
yeah, we'll get to it. But typically we like to do a warm-up lap, which is just a little icebreaker. And I want to know one of your most embarrassing stories.
Okay, so this one, it's funnier now than it was when it was happening. I think as many embarrassing stories are. But it was my first time going to, and only my second time overall, but my first time going to Europe without my family. It was my husband and we went to France and we took a flight there. Well, probably like two or three changeovers at the time. And then, and we had to take a train to this smaller town in the Gascon region where we were going to be staying. I had pre-bought the train tickets, but they do their months and days differently.
Yep.
So when I got to the ticket counter, I didn't know that yet. This was a very long time ago. We won't say how old I am, but it was a really long time ago. And I didn't have all these international friends and I wasn't following this international sport the way I am now. And the conversation I was trying so badly to have with the ticketing agent there, and they did not speak good English. I could order like food at a restaurant. I could not speak French. And it was just, oh my gosh, it just felt so embarrassing. Like while we were there, and I'm like trying to figure it out, and my husband's there, like, what is the problem? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I get that. But like we get it the other way when we do something with the US.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, I need to make sure that this is correct. Because yes, you guys put your month prior to the date. You go month date.
I'm not saying it's right. It's just what we're used to.
It's all you're used to.
Yeah, we always put the month and then the day and then the year. Whenever it was we were traveling, it was one that could be reversed. Like it wasn't on the 30th or something. I was just like, oh my gosh. It was just like, I cringe thinking back. It's, yeah.
You've come a long way since then now.
Yes.
And so is technology.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that helps so much more now. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to know, so tell me about your love for F1. When did you get into F1 and F1 content creation and your journey, your F1 journey?
My F1 journey. Well, funnily enough, it started way back with Top Gear.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, Drive to Survive, but, for an older generation, I guess.
Top Gear is iconic.
Yeah, like everybody knows, I feel like a lot of us know Top Gear. And so none of my family was into any types of motorsport racing. And we also didn't have ESPN. So I had no access to, and that's like the American sports channels.
Mm.
So I had no access to motorsports. I didn't have a racetrack that was local to me. They didn't show anything on like local channels. Um, so I didn't know about that whole world. I did like cars.
Mm.
We would go to car shows. I had my permit and a commute when I was 15,
Wow.
and I loved driving. So, yeah, my
Oh,
dad would like take a nap in the passenger seat,
oh
and I
my
would
gosh.
drive to my
Uh,
internship 45 minutes there, like 45 minutes back.
because what part of the
Um,
US are you from?
so I'm from the Gulf region, so southern Texas and just outside New Orleans.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's where I mostly grew up in those areas. But yeah, so it just I'm sure there was a car culture, but I just wasn't involved in it. And it wasn't until I got to college that my uncle was like, "Hey, you should check out this show, Top Gear." I binged all of it like so quickly. And Top Gear, I mean, it's a comedy show about cars, I feel
Mm.
like,
Yeah, that's a
but
good way to put it. Yeah.
it featured all of these F1 drivers.
Mm.
And I just thought it was so interesting, and I love their competitiveness. And so it kind of started with that, like this sort of interest. And then every now and then, like, oh, I would be able to like catch a race that was like happening. But, as an American back then, it was, we weren't having all of these races that we have now. So it was kind of a slow crawl to okay, now my husband and I are watching every single race. And now I'm watching every video on F1 TV to try and understand what in the world is going on. Because I think that was the genesis of me starting my own channel, was that there are a lot of people out there like me who are very interested in racing, but don't grow up in an environment where racing is explained to them.
Yeah.
There's so many of us who are new to the sport and want to know what's happening, who are interested, and obviously the drivers are interesting, but are interested in more than that. And so it took me so much research, and I finally was getting a grasp on it. Now F1's always changing. So
Yeah, I know that's as soon as you start figuring it out and then it changes.
and then it changes,
Yeah.
right? And there's always more to learn. But I
Mm.
felt like I was getting a better understanding. And then my friends started watching Drive to Survive and then asking me questions. And one of my friends was like, "Sarah, you talk so much about F1. You should just start your own channel." And I had never really been interested in being in front of the camera, but I had just come off a crazy big freelance job that was, oh, I just felt so exhausted working for
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
I was like, why don't I try it? Like, it'll be fun to try something for myself. Let's just see what happens.
What year
And
was this?
last March.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. And here we are.
and here we are. Yeah. So
So
it worked out
good.
pretty well.
Yeah. And we're literally sitting here talking about F1.
Yeah. And now we are. And that's honestly my favorite part, was that I have been so blessed with so many wonderful people in this community. And I don't know if it's just I'm the luckiest person or F1 is just like this. But so many people are so interested in connecting over the sport and connecting with other fans, no matter the level. And
Definitely.
that's right. It's so beautiful. And it's kept me so in love with doing this, that's been a real motivation for continuing.
Yeah, I think, Elle and I say this all the time, like all the people that have come into our lives because of F1, they're all such genuine, real people. And then we just have this like crazy shared interest that we're obsessed with. Like,
Very.
like and even it's so nice for us to be speaking because we also have, it's such an international community. And so you have all these like international friends that you haven't even met, but you're like online friends.
Yes. I
And
love
then
online friends. They're the best.
literally, and then we all, talk about these crazy things that are happening and like our opinions. And it's so special because I think it's not that common. I think as well, being females in this space is we have like extra solidarity for each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. That has been, you said it, like there is an extra layer of like solidarity that I haven't found in other sports or in other aspects of, I don't know, it's just this thing that connects everybody, and that's what I love about F1 more than almost anything else. Like it's so interesting, but I have other people I can talk about with that interest.
Yeah,
So I love it.
it's so true. So interesting you're talking about obviously how much it changes, and we look at,
Yeah.
we look at this even just this year. Obviously we went into the season knowing there are all these regulation changes, and you were going to come to Melbourne and then you didn't come, but that's okay. It was crazy. It was crazy. And I think I was talking about this with another content creator the other day, Danny, who was on the podcast last week, and she was
Oh,
saying,
lovely.
she's so lovely, but we were just saying it really was, we always feel very lucky that, I mean, next year we aren't starting the season off, but that we do get to start the season off with AusGP. And the fact that we went from break into AusGP, regulation changes, like there was so much happening. It was
It's so much.
so much. And obviously, we will speak about this, but when you are physically on track, like that weekend is mayhem,
Chaos.
chaos. And so going into the weekend thinking, okay, there's all these things on, there's all these things that I need to remember with regulation changes, and then they change again. Just as you start getting a grasp, they've changed again. And we have spoken about the regulation changes, but you were in Miami a couple of weeks ago.
I was in Miami. Yeah, it's crazy to think that that was a week ago. It feels like 3 days ago.
Yeah, well, I think it was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? Technically.
Don't test me.
No, well, it was okay. It was a week and a day ago.
Yes.
Actually, yeah,
Okay,
it was
yeah.
a week ago for you. No, sorry, it was a week ago for you because it was Monday. Yes, I lie. Yes,
So just over a week. We
just
can split
over
the
a week.
difference.
Just over a week. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy. When did you? Okay, so tell me about your time at Miami Grand Prix. I want to know how it was, how it went, and I do want to sort of get into as well a little bit more of the details with your opinion on the new regulations and what you saw on track as well.
Sure, sure. So how I got there, this was only my third race that I've attended, and it was really interesting. The other ones I attended in a different capacity than this one. This time I was working with a U.S. activist group that is about helping to keep tracks alive and helping citizens to modify their cars. And they started recently working with the FIA. So I found out like 2 days before that it wasn't a media pass; it was a VIP guest pass.
So cool.
So yeah, it was really cool. And when you get into all the different types of passes that a content creator can get, this one was the most freeing, I'll say.
Okay.
So I had the most freedom. I could shoot because you can't have this pass and have anything sponsored, and you can't publish anything with this pass from inside, like the areas that you have access to media. But you're allowed to publish anything to like your personal page. So it was great. Yeah, a lot of people with media access can't actually shoot video in the paddock. Yeah, because media access only gives you photo access unless you get a very special, different type of media. Like it's very complicated. It's possible. They're just,
I mean,
yeah.
it is very complicated here in Australia
Yeah.
as well, but that's interesting. So
I think
even
I
like
took
a content creator can't film in the paddock?
well, no, it depends on the type of pass you have as
Yeah.
a content creator. So that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. So if you have
Yeah.
like a regular, somebody bought you a paddock pass, that's one thing. A sponsor gives you one, that's another one. But if you try and apply as like media or something like that, well, yeah, you can go and take photos and write articles, but you can't film yourself. So I like ran into a bunch of content creators that like couldn't film in certain areas.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And when
Okay.
I went
Interesting.
with a sponsor before, I was in the Paddock Club and they were like, oh, yeah, you can take this shot looking straight down, but you can't take any shots looking forward onto the track because that's F1 media rights.
Wow. Can you take
Yeah.
can you take a photo just for your personal memory bank?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't
So it
post
was
anything.
they're like, but you can't publish that as part of your content for this week with us because it's sponsored and blah, blah, blah. Like, there were all of these restrictions previously. So this time I got to go. It's my very first time in the paddock, and
Yeah.
I
Amazing.
just, yeah, I had some freedom, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. So I
Wow.
was a special guest of the FIA, working with them to cover like a lot of their topics. I got to meet with their head scrutineer.
Wow.
I got to meet, yeah. I still have to edit some of those videos
Yeah.
because I have so much content. It's crazy.
Yeah. It gets
Um,
overwhelming when you're like, I don't know where to start, and then you throw your phone.
yeah, yeah. Um, and I got to meet and get in the safety car with Bernd Mailander. Like, yeah. I'm
Oh,
like
that's
still
so
so
cool.
excited about it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Um, and then I got and this was part of a round table. So there were a few people there, and I'm still getting my videos edited and approved. But I also got to meet or attend a meeting with Mohammed bin Salim, the FIA president. And
Wow.
yeah, and he talked about bringing back the V8s.
Yeah.
So I was like my jaw dropped open. I'm like,
Yep.
wait, follow up
What?
question. So I heard before it was announced anywhere, and it was yes.
In
Um,
that instance, and like obviously only answer what you can, but in that
oh, sure.
instance, are you expected to sign an NDA and not be able to say anything in that moment, or do they say like,
No, they didn't ask us to sign an NDA or to keep it private, but they
okay,
did ask if they could see our scripts before we publish them.
okay,
So as a courtesy, they asked, and I'm more than happy to comply because that type of access is crazy.
crazy,
Yeah, so I was just like, yeah. And it wasn't even one of my like original questions. He ended
yeah,
up bringing it up. So, and
wow,
it was published, I think, somewhere else like that day anyway.
yeah,
So I only heard maybe an hour before it was online somewhere. So yeah, there was no like hush hush
yeah,
secretness to it. I think they were just concerned, like, how are you going to present this? I'm like, oh, I'm just
yeah,
excited.
yeah, yeah,
But overall, Miami was just boiling hot.
mm,
So that's always fun when you want to like be on camera.
yeah. You're like constantly
Try not to.
sweating. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, just like my hair sticking to me, it was just disgusting.
yeah.
Like high humidity, high heat,
I guess
running around like
everyone
crazy.
always says it's like you just tie your hair back.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I did on the
Yeah,
final day. I was like,
yeah.
I'm over
Can't
it
be
now.
bothered. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was crazy. And then on the last day, it rained like
Yeah.
some serious downpours. So
Mm. Tropical
that
weather.
yeah, that made it crazy. And then they moved the race up hours to actually make it in time before the storms came. So being a
Which,
part of that
yeah.
craziness was wild to
Yeah.
watch.
What was that like on because I was thinking about it. I mean, all us Australians were quite frustrated because we were excited to have a 6 a.m. race and then it
Yeah.
changed to 3 a.m. and we were all very disappointed. But I do always think that a race typically is at like 3 o'clock. I know AusGP is typically at 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. And I assume as well they would typically put a race a bit later to allow a bit of a buffer in case like a race does get, typically a race will get pushed out, not brought forward. What was it like on ground?
So that
And
was new. I'll tell you. Sorry.
yeah,
I would say it was really interesting because they couldn't push it later
because of the rain.
because of the rain was supposed to start at 2 p.m. and then just get heavier.
Yeah.
So of course, weather is unpredictable, especially along that part of the US that like East Coast weather is crazy and around Florida. Like it's very unpredictable. But they also couldn't postpone it until Monday. Like that was
Yeah,
not an
no.
option for the stadium. And so moving it up was the only at the time with the only like weather window that we had.
Mm,
So I understand why they did it. And a big part of moving it up wasn't just the rain. And I even did a little video on this, but it was two other things. US law says that you can't have like spectators out at an event if there are two strikes of lightning within
yeah.
30 minutes and like an 8 mile
8 miles.
radius.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, so that's what they were concerned about because the storms the night before were, really heavy. Like people couldn't see the car in front of them. They were so intense and they were predicted to be much worse later.
Yeah.
So, and when you have the lightning like that, all the spectators have to take cover, which I mean,
Yeah.
100,000 people take cover in how many minutes? Like, it's just not going to happen.
No.
And they also couldn't have the medical helicopter. So if a driver got injured, you can't have the medical helicopter up there if there's lightning. So they were like, we
Yeah.
can't keep people or the drivers safe.
There's just
So
so
I
many
think,
moving parts.
yeah, I know it was a tough call, and I know it was that most people weren't happy about it, but I am glad that we were able to have the race versus not
100%.
having to have the race.
Because that's happened like before. Not
Right. Or it's
often.
been, let's delay it, let's delay it, let's
Yeah.
delay it. And then it just,
And then
okay,
nothing
we've done
happens.
2 laps and then we're
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so true.
So
It's so funny as well. I think a lot of people, when you see the moving parts, I know, again, when I talk about AusGP, and Elle and I always say this, like, there's so many elements. And when the 2 Middle Eastern races were cancelled, a lot of people were saying, oh, maybe there could be another AusGP. And there was even some rumors. And we're like, that would be amazing, but that would be impossible. And because we know a lot of the people, we've met a lot of the people at AusGP, we've interviewed Trav a couple of times, who's the CEO. When you see how much goes into, and it's basically a whole year's worth of planning. They can't just go, oh, yep, let's just put it on another weekend.
Let's just go back real quick 2 months later. Like,
no, not possible, not possible. But
yeah.
I want to know, like, you obviously had some very cool experiences. You're on the grid as well. What were your top moments during Miami Grand Prix?
Oh my goodness. Well, that was definitely it. I found out only an hour before we went on the grid. And so I had a moment, I'm like sitting in hospitality. What?
Yeah.
And then I was very thankful. I don't know if you know Lions Corner.
Why does that sound familiar?
So she's another American F1 content creator. She's amazing. I love her. And she was in the paddock filming something with a sponsor thing. Anyway, she's like, hey, can you take some behind the scenes photos for me? Like right after I got that email, I was like, yes. And I need to come freak out with you for a minute.
Oh, it's so exciting.
It's so nice to have another friend to go to.
Definitely.
And, those moments. So she was thankfully helped me out with it. And I also read it. And then I checked with the FIA to make sure that I could film. Again, I could film with my phone, but I think I couldn't take my 360 cam with me. So that was fine. But so you have to very quickly digest a contract.
Yeah.
So there was that. So I was doing that. And then I was trying to come up with talking points. I'm like, well, if I can film, but again, it's just me and my iPhone,
yeah.
So it's a little bit limiting in that sense. So I was just a major sort of sparkly brain moment where there's not a lot happening, but there are a lot of neurons firing.
Yep. Which one do I listen to first, though?
Yes. And so eventually I got lined up and went out there. And it was just the energy that you experience on the grid, as they're getting ready to race, is unparalleled with anything I've experienced in F1. Everybody is so serious and so focused. I can't believe they let people onto the grid, honestly.
It's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing because they're getting this car ready. How am I
it's
here?
What if someone trips? I always think that. What if someone trips or something someone sneezes on the car? I know that's not going to do anything, but
that was a genuine concern of mine. I was like, what is going, how? And it was very crowded. I'm sure there are pockets that are not crowded. And I think it helps if you have a camera crew, somebody with
guiding
a big camera sort of moving around with you. But I'm just kind of trying to find a pocket to stand in out of the way. It was just so cool to feel even closer to the sport. I'll never obviously drive one of the cars. But
really?
This is as close as I would get. This is insane.
Oh, it's so cool. It's just amazing. And it's again, I just love seeing people. Granted, I don't, I feel like I know you, but seeing people that do these things is really special, because obviously we see things on TV and we see celebrities, and obviously it's typically celebrities get these opportunities, but to see people that are so deserving, it's very special, very special. And just you're appreciating it. You're not someone just going, yeah, cool, whatever.
I am not too cool for the grid. I will never
No,
be.
like please, please. So
No,
we were talking before we started about when you're at race weekend, it's kind of hard because there's so many things going on and you're trying to take
yeah,
in the race. But Miami was very big, I think, for the internet, for the F1 community,
yeah,
because we had this break. And I know that a lot of content creators I've spoken to this season has felt a bit, I don't know how to describe it, just on and off, because we like went
mm,
into the season and then we had the 3 races and then there was all this chatter about, like, I think there's a lot of uncertainties in this season because you can even see like the FIA, the drivers, everyone's just confused with what's happening. No one's 100% certain of what exactly is going on with the cars, and there's constant changes. And then so we had this break and then this big change in the new regulations that had already, so it was like a whole other addition added to it. And
yeah.
being on ground, did you feel like you noticed anything in terms of like the changes that were done, the regulation changes? Did you notice anything specific?
Yeah, a few things I noticed. One, I got to go in that FIA garage and they were checking tons of cars. And I think we saw that, I mean, throughout the race weekend, I think there were 4 different penalties that
Yeah.
came out. Not all necessarily in regards to the regulations, but I think it was a real testament to them trying to understand
Mm,
what all the cars were doing, what was going on. I think the teams were also struggling with coming back. I talked to a few people and they're like, oh, you could tell we've had so many weeks off. Because
yeah.
something this intense, it really helps to get into a rhythm, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I used to work in like professional kitchens, like in the kitchen. And
Oh,
it's
that's
not the same as
intense.
working at F1,
But
but it
it's
is
so
intense.
intense. Yeah, my cousin's a
It's
chef,
it
so
was
yeah.
they were like high-end places, so they were really intense, and it helped so much to be doing this crazy demanding job, but you're doing it almost every single day. Like, you only get 1 day off a week, and you're doing it week after week after week, and your body, in a way, gets into a rhythm.
Yeah.
So, I think on top of the regulation changes that we had come through, I think some I don't want to say anybody was doing a bad job, but I think that there was a bit more
Mm,
antsiness around trying to get back into the rhythm
yeah.
and then get into a rhythm where most people are out of their time zone,
Yeah.
which never helps anything. Um, but I do think the regulation changes we had going into this weekend did help some.
Yeah.
It helped a little bit with being able to do the main straight at a fuller speed. I think everybody was happy about that change. We got new safety regulations that was supposed to be clear for the rain lights. And I thought we might see those, warmer tire blankets on the intermediates, and we might see those rain lights in action this time, but we didn't. So
Yeah.
that change hasn't really affected a race yet. But I am excited that they have now announced that for next year, they're going to move away from that 50-50 power split and they're going to go to
Oh,
the
yeah.
60-40.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand how we got to this set of regulations. I
Mm,
think a lot of people think it's just a hammer comes down and it tells everybody what to do.
yeah. Yeah.
But a
Which is
lot
not
of
the
it,
case at all.
no, it's not the case at
No.
all. And there are a lot of really big, we'll say, shareholders in addition to the drivers. So, unfortunately, the drivers are often treated as employees and not as part of the conversation. And a lot of the, we'll say, conversation around developing these happened 13 years ago. That's when they started talking about these regulations.
Yeah.
So that was before a lot of these drivers were even on the grid. But they had to do with all of the car manufacturers that wanted to push their own EV vehicles and show how cool electric vehicles could be. So that was a big reason why we got to this place. And everybody complaining, well, it's like Formula E now. It's like, I'm not arguing with you on that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was kind of the point.
Yeah.
But I think one of the good things that came out of it is that they pushed all of the fuel manufacturers to move towards sustainable fuels from
Yeah.
non-food sources. And so now that we have that, and I know there's a few who are still catching up to that 100% level they want to be at, but that will allow us to go back to V8s and still be carbon neutral when it comes to racing. So
Yeah.
there are some good things, but the whole Mario Kartness and electricness of it is really not doing well, and the FIA knows it, and they
Yeah.
want to move back. So it's just about getting the teams on board now and trying to figure out what to do between now and like 2030.
Yeah, I think it's interesting if you know what you were saying about getting into a flow and it's so true. I think we always knew going into this season that I mean the 2026 regulations were spoken about for years and we knew that this season wasn't just going to be new regulations and we start the year like that we knew that it was going to be a trial and error going into it and it is a trial and error and unfortunately like it can be frustrating and then there's all the really old school motorsports fans that are like this isn't racing and this isn't real but like
Yeah.
you know unfortunately like the world is changing and it's developing and we need to catch up like well unfortunately for them so
Yeah. And it's weird because I think they changed so much across the
yeah
board. That's what people are also struggling
struggling
with as a
with
fan. Like, okay, it's not just now we had a 50-50 power split between the ICE and the battery. Now we also have this different types of like boost modes and things. And DRS is gone. And also the tire, wheelbases are
yeah
different. So now it's supposed to make passing easier, but now passing is too easy. And it
yeah
feels like just switching positions. And so I think the complaints, especially the ones from drivers, are certainly valid, but that's also
100%
what's right.
100%.
Um, but thankfully, that's pushing us back towards something that I think everybody's going to enjoy more
Mm.
once we get there. But now we're only, what, 4 or 5 races in?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Like 4 races
So,
in.
and it hasn't been that long. And a lot of these
No.
teams, even though they knew 2026 was coming, almost all the teams have had some major staffing changes and they
Yeah.
didn't get their power units or able to start testing these power units into even mule cars until what, summer of last year?
Yeah, it was this year, wasn't it? Oh no.
I
Oh, you're talking about your summer
Yeah,
last year.
our summer.
Yes. Yeah. I was like,
Sorry, our summer.
yeah.
Midway through the season last year, I think they
Yes.
had like a mule car
Yeah.
tire test because they also have brand new tires. Like
It's
everything changed.
everything
Everything.
changed. It almost would have been better to have like a slower kind of
I think so. I think,
yeah.
hindsight tells us, yeah, guys, because it was just too drastic of a change across the board for all of
Yeah.
these teams to be ready, to be
Yeah.
race ready so quickly is a
Mm.
lot to ask.
Yeah. Yeah, it is it is definitely a lot. And I think yeah, this whole year. I mean, we knew that they were saying that between every 4 races, they were going to look into what was going on in those races and how they could make adjustments. It just so happened that we did have this break, and so that they were able to do this whole thing, this whole adjustment before Miami. Um,
Which I'm glad for, especially with the
mm,
Miami crash. And I'm
oh
so
gosh,
I'm so frustrated that that happened,
yeah,
but so happy that he's safe. And then I think it helped to prompt revisitation to the regulations before they were might have been ready.
definitely. No, I completely agree. Yeah, it's a crazy year. I just like we've next week. I mean, this weekend we have a break, then we've got Canada, and I just miss F1. Like I know that we just had Miami, but now it's also frustrating because it was like we had this long break and then there's like a 3 week break between Miami and Canada, and so we're just sitting waiting, waiting,
I
waiting,
know.
waiting. But I am bring on Canada. Do you have any predictions for Canada?
Oh, um, well, I'm excited. I think McLaren's going to do well. They were scheduled and had talked about bringing upgrades specifically for Montreal. So I think we're going to see, we already saw them on the podium
Yeah.
this, so I really think that they're going to do well. I've been loving seeing Kimmy do so well. I
Mm.
am so excited about him. I love seeing Max actually battle his way up because I know the start of the season was really hard
Yeah.
for him. I love seeing the Ferraris be competitive, even if they feel like they're not up as high as they want to be. I think, a lot of the teams are doing well. And especially when you look at the teams that aren't doing so well, when you look at like the back end, when you look at like Cadillac being brand new, like, of course, they're not gonna, it's
No.
gonna take their
No
whole
one had
team,
expectations.
right, to be cohesive. Aston Martin, their whole issue with Newey wanting to redesign the engine that Honda had made for them, and now there's not enough time to redesign the engine. Like,
Disaster.
props to the drivers on those teams because I know that they must be frustrated, but that's just sort of like what has to happen behind the scenes before these teams can be race ready. But I think we're going to see McLaren do well in Montreal, and I know Lando's really eager to fix his previous mistakes there.
Oh,
So
Lando.
I,
I mean,
I
hopefully,
know.
hopefully,
I'm not,
yeah, uh,
I'm not hating. I'm just saying I know that he's
yeah,
eager to do well there.
yeah,
So I'm excited. I kind of want there to be a wet race, even though
yeah.
I'm even though I'm trying to go.
Okay, well,
I
I was going to ask the next question is, are you going to go to Canada?
I have bought my plane tickets.
Okay,
I
excellent.
haven't gotten my hotel. I haven't gotten everything else like lined up and crossed off. So we're working on it, but I have found that things in F1 have been so last minute.
So last minute.
So last minute. Like
Mm-hmm.
I got my paperwork for Miami the week before Miami.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just like people are asking me, they're like, "Are you going?" I'm like, "That's the
Hopefully.
plan."
Yeah.
Well,
Hopefully, we'll see.
hopefully, like I bought some plane tickets. We'll see. And the same thing with my other races. I found out like I think 10 days before each of them max. And that's pretty common amongst other content creators that I've talked to. So um we'll just, yes, I am going.
Yes.
That works,
Yes.
right?
Definitely. Definitely. I think I mean I agree. We've spoken a lot about Kimmy doing well. I think Kimmy, I'm pretty sure last year Canada was his first podium, if I'm not
Oh, was
mistaken.
it?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
because
yeah.
I think he was third last year. Um yeah, I think the McLarens now, like it wasn't a great start to the season, but they're hopefully making their way up now, I think. And hopefully it's a bit
Yeah.
more competitive with the Mercedes as well.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, Charles was almost on the
Oh,
podium in
Charles.
Miami. I know. I
Uh,
know.
I was gonna
I feel
ask.
for I
Yeah,
feel for Hadjar with I mean, he just had like
yeah,
really bad luck all race weekend.
he has. Yeah,
So I would love to see, either Charles or Hamilton do better and,
yeah.
just have things sort of come together for them. But if we're asking logically, I think the McLarens both have, two great drivers, of course. But that plus the upgrades and them getting, into the swing of things, I think they'll do well.
I was gonna ask, who do you have a specific team, favorite driver?
Um, I I don't have a specific team, I'll tell you. Whenever I watch F1, I'm always like yelling at something. I'm like, go to the pits.
Yeah,
This is your window. Like I'm just yelling about strategy the whole time.
yeah,
I'm not so much yelling at the driver. I was yelling at Bortoletto. So I love him. He's such a
yeah,
good driver.
yeah. He
But
is.
when I think it was like the Brazil sprint or something, I'm like, why are you being so aggressive? You're gonna miss out on your home race. And then he did. And it was just
Oh gosh, yeah. That
like,
was. It's that home race curse. Happens everywhere.
it does.
Oh,
But I'm always rooting for a lot of them, but the only drivers merch that we've ever bought is Hamilton's hat. So
iconic.
slight favoritism.
Yeah, it's obviously like he's iconic. And I was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
ask, are you planning on attending any other races this year?
Um, well, plans and concrete plans are a little bit looser, but I really want to do Austin and Vegas again, and I would love to do Silverstone this year.
Yeah,
That would be, I guess Montreal's international, but Canada's our cousin.
yeah,
Um, but I would love to go back to Silverstone. I just went there for the first time ever for an F1 Academy testing event. It is a beautiful track and it is so big. And I have loved every race that we watch there, just seems to be filled with excitement and
yeah.
drama. So I'm trying to figure out how to make that one happen because it's a classic, right? It's the
It is.
F1 track.
Yeah, it's a home race
So
for many.
for many,
Yeah,
yes, exactly. And it makes that even more exciting. It amps it up.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's the one that if I could only pick one race in the year to go to, it would probably be that one to
yeah.
see what it's all about.
I think L will maybe be there this year.
Well, okay.
Yeah, but she actually represented Paddock 43. She went in
Oh,
2024, but it was literally like a month after I'd given birth, so I couldn't go.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I couldn't go, but she represented for us, which was great. But she loved it. But I know she was saying as well, I mean, it's such a fantastic track, fantastic race. She's like, it's just so big and
Yeah,
hard
it's
to get it and
huge,
hard to
right?
get into. Like
Yeah,
where did
everybody's
you?
telling me to camp, and like, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, that's
know.
what yeah. She's like, I'm not camping. Where did you stay when you went?
I actually stayed at Heathrow Airport, and I just took a car in for the day and then back because
Yeah,
it was just a 4-hour event. So
yeah,
I wasn't that concerned. And
mm.
I was gonna take a train, but it was like you have to take a train to London from here's the airport and then to Silverstone.
Oh, it's so silly.
And I was like, oh, so it's 2.5 hours if I go that way,
Yeah,
or it's an hour if I'm like, I'm just taking a car.
yeah,
I don't care today.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I remember because yeah, at OzGP, like we can basically walk around the whole track. Like you can,
Oh, nice.
yeah, yeah. So
You could do that in Austin too.
okay,
So it's
okay,
boiling hot,
yeah,
but you can walk the entire track. And because it's in Texas Hill Country, almost every spot you're at, you can see the track in
that's
multiple
good.
places.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, that was my next question. What's your favorite track in general, like to watch? And then
Mm.
what's your favorite track that slash GP weekend that you've attended?
Okay, well, so we'll say Silverstone is number one, but I'll give you a new one as well, just because so much happens there, and I love a wet race, and it oftentimes delivers.
Agreed, agreed. I'm always like, let it be wet, but I hope they're safe.
Yeah, and which is England is great for. Like, we're
Yeah,
just gonna be drizzling.
yeah,
I'm like, that's
yeah,
perfect. Drifted over the curves. Like, give
yes,
me some action.
yeah.
Um,
Chaos, but safe.
chaos but safe.
Yeah,
Exactly right. Like everybody's gonna be good. We're
yeah,
all gonna be good. That I also really love the Mexico GP.
yeah.
I,
Okay, that's my
I
dream. I really want to go to
is
Mexico
it
GP,
okay?
and
We'll
because I
go to
speak
that one
Spanish,
together.
so yes, please.
Oh, we're
So
gonna have to be with you
I
anyway.
can be your
Yeah.
translator. Yeah,
Yes, please.
yeah,
Oh, I would love that. So it's just a beautiful track. I
yeah,
mean, even the paint job, but like there's so much action that happens
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Like, I mean, I think Brazil would be a close third.
yeah. And rain in Interlagos always.
Yeah, exactly. So you see,
Mm,
you
yeah,
understand the chaos that I
yeah,
love.
yeah,
So I guess those are my like top three for watching as a spectator, and those are usually often at times that I can watch while I'm fully awake.
yeah,
So that helps too.
yeah,
I don't want anybody coming after me because I missed one of their favorite tracks. It just
oh,
helps when you can watch it live
yeah.
and like fully caffeinated and not like at 4 a.m. So I'm sorry, Suzuka. It's a 3 a.m. race. It's like too
Suzuka for
it's
us
too
is
bright.
like, oh, we can watch it live.
Oh, nice. Nice. No,
We have the opposite issue.
right, right. So you probably enjoy some of those races more. And I also like Azerbaijan
Yeah,
because
Baku's
oh,
always so eventful.
it's so
Always.
good.
Oh, it's so good.
Like
Because it's
every
dramatic.
shot is interesting. It's with those narrow
The
streets, like there's
castle.
nowhere to go. They're always using the runoff. Like,
Yep.
oh,
Yes.
I feel
There's
like
always someone spinning out on that runoff, like after the first corner. Yeah.
always. So I just
Mm.
love to watch the cars do that. I'm like, this
Yep.
is great. This is fun.
Yep.
We're just like barely scraping the edge.
Oh,
Like, oh,
yeah,
so good.
yeah, Baku's fantastic.
Yeah,
Mm.
I loved it. And then for races that I've been to, gosh, Miami was crazy because I got to be on the outside, I mean, only a few steps of pit lane during
Wow.
qualifying.
Wow.
Like, I have a shot of the car, like, it is like maybe 4 feet away from me. And I'm just like,
Wow.
how am I here?
Yeah, that's
Um,
incredible.
so that was very cool. But I will say for watching the race, Vegas is nice because of the weather. It's
Mm.
cool, so you can like wear a hoodie and a jacket and just be chill. Texas, you're melting in your seat, but you can see so much.
Yeah.
You can see what's happening right in front of you. You can see what's happening on the next turn, and then you can see what's happening further down the track. So if I had to go back to one of them, I guess I'd say Miami.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's just the energy there being the first US race as well
Yeah.
gives it something special.
Yeah. We were actually potentially going to go to Miami, and then that didn't happen, but it's okay. It will
Oh,
happen.
it will happen.
It
It
will
will
happen.
happen.
But I
And it'll
think
be better weather when you come. I'm
true,
just
true, 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 true. Yeah, true. But we do have our eyes on Austin.
I think you'll really enjoy it. Like I said, as long as you like are prepared to deal with the heat,
See, I
wear
love the heat.
okay,
I
okay.
have my mum's from Venezuela, so I have Caribbean blood.
Oh, well then you'll
Yeah.
be
So it's interesting you say
you'll
you like Las Vegas, because when I think of Las Vegas, I'm like, oh, cold at night.
it is, but it's more like I can't do the conversion, but it's like 50 degrees
Yeah, like
Fahrenheit.
maybe
So
like
I don't know what that is in
18-ish or
Celsius.
18-ish, maybe. No, less, I think.
Yeah, I
Mm,
had on like thermal leggings and a coat. Like
yeah,
it was fine. Like it's just cool. But
cool.
that's terrible for racing.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, not the
That's the only
funnest for
reason why it
racing.
gets knocked off the list. Eh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I love going to it. I love attending. But if I had to pick between to
Mm.
tell somebody to go to just one, um, yeah.
And I mean, we will wrap this up shortly, but
Okay.
I want to circle back to, you got into Formula One content creation.
Mhm.
And I know that there's a lot of people that would be listening that, want to get into that or are interested or want to be more involved in the world of F1. What is a piece of advice that you would leave someone?
Ooh, I would say now this. I have a background in marketing, so I would say look for the gaps. In F1, you got to go for the
Look for the
gaps.
gaps. Yeah.
But I see a lot of advice online, which is just very odd to me, where it says, "Oh, find out what's the most popular thing and then copy that." And I see a lot of people trying to do that and being frustrated with their lack of success, and that wasn't my motivation at all going into this. I am very lucky that I have now discovered there are so many other content creators who are doing education. But at the time, I was just following the more lifestyle F1 content creators. And I would notice in their comments that people were asking technical questions and not getting answers. So I'm like, okay, there's a whole audience of what seems like women here that are asking other women about F1 and needing answers so that they can understand racing better. And there aren't enough people who are answering their questions. So there was a sort of a gap in the market, and I was like, I've always loved teaching. I understand how to answer their questions. Maybe I could try that. And so I would say if you're somebody who's looking to get into F1, like look at sort of the social world around you and also where you are skilled. I've met so many people who are like amazing artists,
Yeah.
and they'll be doing F1 art. It's like, that's great that not everybody is doing that. Or, somebody that'll take a totally different take and just do like Podium Sundays, this hilarious commentary and doing this like really deep research. And she has all of these understandings. So it's not necessarily, try and be the most different possible, but don't feel like you have to be like what's popular and just
Yeah.
stay more true to your own skills and your own passions because as much fun as I'm having, sometimes it's tiring.
Yeah.
And if I didn't love doing this so much, I know it'd be so easy to quit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of find your own groove, find where people are looking for something different, and don't be afraid to be don't be afraid to be the odd one out because that'll
Mm.
probably be what makes you stand out the most.
I love that. I think that's even a great piece of advice, just a great piece of life advice
Good,
for
good. Yeah, you
anyone.
can always
Yeah.
try and be more yourself, try and be more confident in taking a risk and
See
yeah,
where it takes you.
absolutely. I
Takes you
mean,
to the grid in Miami.
I mean, I could not have predicted this. I absolutely could not have predicted that that is where it would take me. Like 13 months later, I'm like, seriously? Like I just yeah, I don't have any special tricks to anything that I'm doing.
You're
I'm just
yourself.
very lucky. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, that's lovely. And I want to know, Sarah, where can our listeners find you?
So I'm primarily on Instagram on at Sarah on the grid, Sarah with an H. I'm also on Threads, TikTok, and YouTube when I remember to post.
Oh gosh, it's so hard to post on YouTube. And I was like, we need to
Yeah.
post more on YouTube, but then
I know, me
you know.
too. But I try and post at least my explainers there. But you can follow along everything the most on Instagram. And please send in your questions. I try and respond to as many comments as possible. But I love trying to help fans, get a grasp on the understanding of F1. So if you've got a tricky question, leave a comment and just on some random video. It's fine. And I'll try and help you out.
Oh, I love that. Oh, thank you so much, Sarah. Well, I hope we can meet IRL soon.
Yes, I would love that.
And we
my
can give you a big
goodness.
hug and we can just be in the world of F1 together.
Oh, that would be my absolute favorite. Let me say, meeting people in Miami was just like so exciting. So I would love to do that.
But thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you soon. And thank you, listeners, for listening. And like Sarah said, if you have any questions, just reach out and we will be back in your ears next week. Bye.
Bye.